Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Geonet Properties and Finance Group. And today's a really exciting episode. We're talking Lombok investment, the twin sister area of Bali, just over the coast there, just over the water. And we've got an exciting guest with us, developer Theo Dandine, and we'll be talking all about Amber Lombok Resort. So Theo, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome for having me.
So, Theo, we'd love to get a bit of a background about yourself. You've been in Asia for 15 years now. Give us a bit of a understanding about.
Yeah. I landed in Hong Kong 15 years ago. Prior to that, I was raised and born in south of France with an artist mother and an engineer father. And for them, it was really important to have space for creativity. And I suppose this is what have followed me almost all my life. And but after that, I went in Hong Kong in finance. And after doing this for 15 years, I needed to have some space for myself into this creativity. And this is where I started to build, to create this company called Origin. And it started small, where I bought some warehouse and some old houses in Hong Kong to do some renovations, and slowly moved up into Japan, where we bought a few plots of land, and we designed some houses, and we manage them. We still manage them as we speak. We have 5 properties there. And after that, we wanted to get a bit bigger, and we started to look at Southeast Asia. And Indonesia made a lot of sense. There is a lot of expat there. The expat community is huge, and they are not just there as tourists, they're there as well as professionals. They want to make a living there. And the local population are really great, really good craftsmen. So we decided that was going to be the next place for us to develop.
A lot of our clients come to us because the investment return is so attractive in Southeast Asia, but a lot of people want to know, how do you do it? But Theo, you've done it over the last 15 years, not only in Lombok, but
in Japan.
many.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very different place to work, but it's really interesting to see, the way that you interact with the people and the intricacies of how you create a business in both of those countries.
It's not easy, It does take time. You really need, and this is what we've talked about in a lot of our podcasts, is having a developer who has the experience in the industry. You've made the mistakes, getting to this point. So this is one of the things that we try and get our investors to understand, particularly those in Australia that are having a mortgage attached and being able to invest now through their asset or net worth in Australia. Knowing that the investment or the developer that they're working with, it's a much safer investment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very true. It's very true, and it's even more important to have been able to do the full circle of the investments, which means not only to buy the land, build, and to operate, but as well to be able to sell it. Once you've gone the full circle, you really understand all the intricacies. Most of the people think that just building it and selling it and managing it is the job done, but actually it's not.
Well, not just in Bali, but in Lombok especially, is so many projects coming out of the ground. But when you really start to dig deeper into the projects and the developers, you have to be careful as an investor. Yeah. Can they bring it out of the ground? Do they have the partner network that takes time to develop? And we'll talk about some of your partners in just a minute, which will give a lot of trust and credibility to your brand. But knowing that the developer can actually do the task. And when we talk about return on investment, can the developer with his network get the guests in on a nightly basis to give you that ROI?
Yeah. Well, Theo, you had to move to Lombok, right? To make it happen. It wasn't easy.
Yes, correct. Yeah. It was even more difficult back in the days. Now it's easier, but still you need to be there, because you need to meet the people face to face to really understand all the different options that are given to you, and making sure that you don't do the wrong steps.
Yeah. So you've done the groundwork, so now we can trust you because you've been there for 6-7 years now in Lombok.
Yeah, a bit more than 7 years, and it's at the beginning, of course, you don't always meet the best people or the most trusted ones, but now we managed to have a good team. When I say a team, it's mainly to have good lawyers, good notaries, good people to be able to have the foundations to be able to then go on with your project without having to worry about those aspects.
So is that what sent you grey?
No, it's part of the process. It's part of the reason why. Then you can really focus on building the project, on having the concept, and being able to have the staff to operate it. When you don't have to think about all the foundations again and again and again, then it's easier for you to build on that and to create a better project every time. I mean, it goes along the same thing with the construction. We had the first hotel called Origin. We are very proud of it. It's a 33 keys, which is located in Kuta, and it's a beautiful project. We did some mistakes, of course, and with the next one, Amber, we decided to really make sure that it's a better project. That is something that we control more, and we're quite happy about what happened with it.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting too for investors to know that Amber, as we talk about Amber, this is a number of different projects down the line, but Origin is very successful, and in fact, Origin was booked out by Honda when the MotoGP was on earlier this year, right?
Yeah, correct. So it was the first MotoGP in Indonesia. Years, so it was like really big events, lots of people in town, and so we managed to secure the GP teams, which is great for the staff. It's great for the morale. It was really a good experience.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things behind Origin as a company is the new partnership with Cross Hotels and Resorts, which is actually owned by Flight Centre. That's a pretty big string to the bow for Origin.
That was a big milestone for us. Origin 33 keys, Amber 75 keys. So that is starting to be a big operation. And Lombok is growing, and is growing fast. And you always want to have an edge compared to the competition. So we thought by partnering with a group with such a great experience into managing hotels, but as well with a big presence in Australia, will always give us that edge compared to the competition.
Yeah, that was interesting with Flight Centre. During COVID, any travel company that's managed to get through COVID and survive, and then come back now and prosper, that they're a strong company. And this is what we talked about a lot in a number of different episodes, is the due diligence that has to be done when you're working with these big brands. Excuse me, and I think. Theo, that we work with Ramada, Encore in Thailand. We work with Mercure here. We do offer finance products and mortgages against the Amber stock profile. But the due diligence that you had to do to get Flight Centre behind you, and the due diligence that we have to do with the banks in Australia for the right projects is a lot. So that leads to a lot of confidence for our investors to know that they're going to do their due diligence, but a lot of others have already done that in lieu of that too.
No, for sure. It was a reassurance for our hotel investors, but as well for the villa owners, so they can be a bit more reassured of the return that they can make of their villas. And it's a place which is at the start of the development. So I want to say that whatever the ROI that they can provide now is going to be much higher in 5 to 10 years' time, when the island has really all the connections that it deserves.
Correct. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Amber, because these are interesting facts. It's probably one of our favorite projects on our platform. One, because Lombok is amazing, and it's probably like nowhere else in the world, where from $195,000 USD at the moment, you can get into a beachfront resort. Where else in the world can you do this?
I don't think anywhere, to be honest.
Right. And let's just have a look at it. So on Google, 363 reviews. Now the resort opened in January 2022. So we talk about the validation of the numbers and the ROI. For 4.7 on Google out of 5. 9.1 at a booking.com with 264 reviews. So, you've opened incredibly successfely.
Thank you. And we are very proud of that as well, because you have to imagine that the place is in a very pristine location where everything has to be done, from down to up, which means that you really need to train all the staff and make sure that everybody is ready, because the customers and the villa owners are expecting a world-class property and a world-class service. And it's easy to say, and done in Bali, but it's not that easy to say and done in South Lombok.
Right.
And to be able to have reached those levels on the first year of operation, it gives us great satisfaction. And knowing now with the new GM that we're having on board and with cost that things can only get better.
And during COVID, that was something to say. Lombok during COVID was obviously not what Bali was, and opening during COVID and making this resort. I stayed myself. I was lucky enough to go last month, and I have to say I was amazingly impressed with the level of F&B. It's a boutique hotel on the beach. You are alone on a beautiful 3-4 kilometer beach. You did a good job, Theo. For Lombok, I think it's probably my favorite resort, and you've been there for a while, so that Lombok needed that quality of boutique hotel and boutique resort, and being beachfront is unique again.
Yeah, so it's exciting for investors for them to know that it's up, it's operational. We actually only have 4 left.
Minutes left, correct.
I think we had a client from Australia over the weekend that we've actually put with Crystal and the broking team. So they're leveraging a property they had in Australia, and they're doing their paperwork now and buying.
And buying, yeah. Funny enough, just a little party from those guys. Most of the investors know Amber, because when you look at Lombok, there is not a lot of places to go and stay. So those guys actually knew Amber really well, and they say, "Yeah, we love the resort, we love the food. We didn't know there was something to buy," and so it became easier because the reviews speaks for themselves, the quality of the infrastructure, the location is fantastic, and for them it was no-brainer. They just knew Amber, they knew the resort, the investment makes sense, the occupancy, they stayed there so they can see that the occupancy is high.
It's real.
Is real.
Yeah.
They know that Lombok is reopening, so, it makes a lot of sense. Plus they have a guarantee for the first year.
So that's 10% guarantee at the moment that Theo's doing. Yeah.
Which is a good security, because if you believe that Indonesia is back or will be back fully by Q1, Q2 2023, because not all the flights are open yet. International flights, we're going to talk about it in a minute, are coming back to Lombok. The MotoGP is up and running, and is 4-5 events per year, Theo?
It's many events, and really the whole album is booked, but our properties are really well located and offer a premium service and quality of accommodations that we get booked the first, and the prices as well for the rental of the villas goes sky high. So it's an ongoing business that we will have for the next, I think, 12 years. It's a 12-year partnership with the government, and so it reassures us that we are going to have a constant revenue coming just for the events, on top of the regular tourists coming in.
And I think was it Petronas, which is one of the major sponsors of the GP. They booked with you as well.
Oh, they booked the whole hotel. It was 75 keys, and when they book it, it's for 6 or 7 nights. So it's really good for us, because it's easy to plan. It's easy to upsell the activities. It's easy to have the visibility of who's going to come in the next 3 to 6 months. So for us, it's all benefit. And to come back as well on all the marketing that can be done around it, we are proud as well to have it's a lifestyle hotel, so that means that we offer a lot of F&B and as well a lot of activities, and we have a proper spa on site. We offer some activities in the mountains, in the water, and all those participate into the auto marketing of the project, so we are more visible than any other project. People just like to take some images on Instagram, and then they show themselves, and then they go, like it's hashtag Amber, and then the thing goes on. It's something that we don't even have to do anymore. People do it for us.
Yeah, we talked about that whenever I had the podcast about I remember being over in New York City, excuse me, 7 years ago, I was doing some work with Google.
Yep.
And in the middle of Times Square, and wonderful Indonesia was all up on the billboards and up on the buses. And it's interesting, right? You don't have to do that type of marketing anymore, because we talked about the Instagram statistics, 2.4 billion video shares on YouTube.
Wow.
Into the billions. I can't remember the exact stats on, but it's in one of our other podcasts. Billions in TikTok, and billions of shares on Instagram. So a lot of that work is being done for us. Bali, Indonesia, Lombok. It's just one of the best travel destinations in the world. So the return on investments are legit. And that's why I say to our customers, it is open, and you can do your research. Just jump on to booking.com and you can see what the nightly rates are. Come and stay.
Yeah, come and stay, yeah.
Right.
Something we shouldn't really talk about, but I hope by then it will be agreed. One of our investors obviously found out about Amber on Instagram and said, this is the place I want to propose to my wife. So he reached out to me and said...
I hope she says yes.
Of course, we hope it's in 2 days, right, Theo? So he booked a candlelight dinner. That beach is fantastic because you've got a sunset. Sometimes Theo magically make buffaloes appear on the beach, and it's quite unique. And again, you're right. The reach of Instagram of unique and remote places now is you can feel it at the fingertips, and you see those images, you see those videos, and you just say, I want to be there, I want to go there. So you don't need to do a lot of marketing. It speaks for itself, because everybody is like, look at that sunset, look at those buffaloes, look at that candlelit dinner, and suddenly it becomes reality. So that guy, I think, is from Malaysia. So he's flying direct from Kuala Lumpur all the way to Lombok. So fingers crossed, she's going to say yes.
She says yes and buys an investment property.
Yeah.
Most people just buy a ring.
And and they want to use it as a wedding venue, because the first thing I said to my wife, we already married obviously, but if we had to do our 10-year anniversary, that would be in Amber, because what a place. You could book the whole hotel for yourself.
Unique.
Exactly. Unique, alone on the beach. And it's going to stay like this for a while, right, Theo? Not a lot of people are building or have what it takes and the experience to build in Lombok, right?
But I would agree with that. We were the first one with Origin already to come with this type of hotel in Kuta, and then we were booked, like all the time. We are the first ones again in Torok and in that bay, and so many things are happening right now. You have to understand as well that it won't take as much time as Bali to develop because of Instagram, because of social media. So people get to know things much faster, much easier. So whatever deal that you think that you're having now is going to be very different in 1 to 2 years time, just because of social media. And yes, we are the first there. That beach, everybody says, is the best one in South Lombok. You're going to see things move fast, and you just can't fight it. It's just the way trend goes now.
And Theo, the investor profile, we talked a bit about this in one of our other podcasts with Crystal, talking about the investors. In that particular case from Australia, who was using the finance facility to get into Bali and of course Lombok. And the investors are a mix. We've got them coming from all over the world, Australia, obviously a lot. But who are you finding is your investor profile for Amber?
Well, what rings the bell, I guess, first is, of course, is an investment, so high yield. This is something that they want to know. They want it to be secure, so they want to have the property probably built, and they want it as well to have it well managed. And I think that we do cover those points. And as well, they want to have something which is a true holiday and escape. We offer that as well. So I think it's really a mix of all this that makes that people find the project interesting. There is not as much risk as buying into off-plan property, and they have all the lifestyle that goes with it. So they know that they just go out their door and they have the restaurant, the spas, the shops, everything is there. So once people get to know the project, most of them adhere to it, and yeah, it's been quite successful.
It's important to mention that you get 30 days for free when you buy one of these units. So it appeals to a lot of people. They always, when you buy some place in Indonesia, in Bali, or in Lombok, you always will I be able to stay there? Is it going to affect my rental income? Well, not really, because we, the 10% guarantee is based on 75% occupancy. So technically,
there's still room there.
Exactly, there's still room there for you to use, and 30 days in Lombok is wow. I wish I could spend 30 days in Lombok every year, and I live in the neighboring island.
So your podcast next year are from
yeah, for sure. I've already booked for February, right, Theo? I'm the first one. The villa is being completed. I think this month, Theo, the 3-bedroom, which is still for sale, and I'm gonna book before somebody buys it, so I'm sure I can stay there. But of course, if we sell it and the guy wants to use it in February, then
you come with the villa.
Yes, I come with the villa.
and I think let's just talk about, we mentioned it before, about getting to Lombok is becoming much easier. A couple of things: we've got more direct flights, Singapore and KL. Yep. Flying into to Lombok direct. There are rumours, but watch this space. It's still not confirmed yet. But from our Australian investors, Perth and Darwin, but that will be confirmed more into next year. So watch that space. But the ferry's just opened. You were just telling us before, Theo. So that's bringing in 200 passengers a day into Kuta, right?
It is, yeah. So it's great because it really brings the people straight downtown into South Lombok, and it's a try now, but I think it will go on forever because it's the ferry is full, and the only thing that we can think about is that then they're going to put more ferries. So it's all about the connectivity and how can you bring people to the island, especially in South Lombok. So I'm not so worried about it. I think 2023 is when we're going to see really an increase of flights, because the flights are full. So, people will just want to go more and more to those destinations. And when you're linked to KL and to Singapore, it means that it's easily accessible now if you come from Europe or from the United States, because it's one layover to get to Lombok instead of being 2 layovers. Yeah. So it will be as close to go to Lombok as to go to Bali for people from Europe. And that's a very big step for 2023.
Yeah.
So we've got 4 remaining units to sell in the current Amber project. So, what's your advice to them, Theo? Jump on a conversation with us.
Yes.
Book a hotel room for a couple of nights if they want to come and see it.
Come and check it out.
Act now, right? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Come or even Pierre or Chad, if you want to come to make a video call with the guys, and if they kind of come to Lombok because it's the year end and you may have some other things to do, but just gauge the vibe, gauge the attitude there, and then you will see from the image that really is a magical place. And we had 3 buyers who never came to Amber and they bought it. It's something that is a bit in demand. So yeah.
So Theo, what's as Amber comes to a close from a sale investment perspective? Of course, life goes on, and we continue to run an amazing operation there. But you have plans. Origin is looking at a new project, up and coming project into next year as well.
Yeah, we do have. Sadly, it's not on the beach. It's very hard to put a hand on the beachfront, but it will be just behind the beach, and it's a smaller project, about 15 hotel rooms on the lagoon. It will be run like a day club, and we probably have around 12 villas, behind it. We are now into the concept design, but I will tell you more in the
next episode,
2023. When I have all the renderings and all the tweets for you.
And that's in Serangan, right? Which is one of the best.
That's in Serangan. Yes. Yeah. It's the beach before Amber. It's just the whole area there is really developing fast, and we want to get a ticket there, before everybody else comes in.
Beautiful,
brilliant, exciting stuff. I want to thank you for your time today, Theo, for coming in and talking to our investors. I want to thank my co-host Pierre Avenard as always.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Like and subscribe for more information, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Likewise, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.